Kings Island's known for their nightly fireworks, but there's something special about the 4th of July fireworks show at the park. Hello, everybody. Alongside Don Helbig, I'm Ryan Sir, and this is Tower Topics.
Tower Topics is a podcast by Kings Island fans for Kings Island fans, because that's who we are, and that's who we care about.
Hey, let's give a shout out to our Prestige members. I want to give a big thank you to Miss Mandy, 1983, Lil Mac, 21, Brian Hauser, 330T, Logan Lipper, Aaron Bort, Jacob Fix, Damon Barnes, Stephen Hornack, Eric Grau, Ian Crawford, Dustin Jackson, Songstress Miku, Dakota Cole, Lack Ray, Galaxy B-Boy, and Medic 302. Thank you guys so much for supporting Tower Topics at the highest level. That's the prestige level. If you want to also be involved in Tower Topics, there's a link in the description. Members get early access to the videos, exclusive content, exclusive live streams, and hey, some tiers you can get some free stuff. So hit that link in the description if you want to be on board.
Ryan, Kings Island Star Spangled Nights. It's going to run July 4th and the 5th, and historically, you can go back to 1972. When it comes to fireworks shows, Kings Island puts on one of the best shows that you're going to see in the greater Cincinnati area. It's not your typical nighttime show that you see throughout the summer. It's expanded. Normally, it's about a 20-minute show, oftentimes like 10 times the amount of shells and that they use. So we don't know what the theme or anything's going to be this year for it, but if you're used to the 5-minute show that they do every night, this is certainly elevated well above that. So many places around the park, where it's great to catch the fireworks, with the drones being incorporated into it. Now you have all the lights and lasers and things on International Street. I always look forward to this. I think, when you have the Eiffel Tower as the backdrop and you've got all the fireworks and that, going off, it's a perfect place to spend the 4th of July holiday.
It really is. When amusement park, it's there's a lot of irony in what I'm about to say, but amusement parks are Americana. Not the Americana that used to be an amusement park that competed with Kings Island, but they are like hand in hand with the American spirit. So I think it's always appropriate to spend 4th of July at an amusement park. So I think it's really cool. The things that are different from your normal shows, as you mentioned, 20 minutes ish as opposed to 5 minutes. I know that 20 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but that's your average fireworks show.
That's a long time for a fireworks show. I mean, this is one of the longest shows you're going to see.
It is, but 15 to 20 minutes that's very normal. So it's not like, the WBN or whomever do fireworks that are a little bit longer, but that's kind of that's their shtick, But nonetheless, the differences are it's a different length. It's got the lights on International Street. It's got the lasers. It's got the drones. And they do them beautifully. They really do. For those of you watching the YouTube version, this is last year's video. It's such a beautiful display, very patriotic. You said you don't mention that you didn't really, we don't know the theme yet. I'm sure it'll be like a general, you'll have your Lee Greenwoods and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you've got a lot of those traditional 4th of July songs that you hear, but it's 2 nights, July 4th, July 5th. Now, one of the things in recent years that's been a lot different, Ryan, and I know, this has bothered you. It's bothered a lot of other guests too, is that the park used to be open until midnight on the 4th of July.
Right.
And this was that opportunity, to see a great fireworks show and then, cap off your night with those, spectacular night rides that you get on coasters like the Beast, Diamondback, Orion, the Racer, Adventure Express is one of those rides. So everybody loved that the park was open until midnight. But not anymore. So it's a 10 p.m. close. So you don't really get the opportunity to grab those night rides that you used to.
I remember it was disappointing because they used to be open till midnight most Saturdays, like mid-June through the end of July, maybe even a little into August, and then they took those away from us. And then it was like, well, at least 4th of July, that's our one midnight close, and now we don't even have that.
Now you don't do that at all.
So
with it,
Life pro tip though, the biggest complaint, aside from the stuff that you mentioned, the biggest complaint is, you're going to have a ton of people. The park is very back end heavy. A lot of people show up just for the fireworks. So it'll be very busy at the end of the night. I don't know, so it'll necessarily be busy throughout the day, but at the end of the night, it'll be very busy. which means that the parking lot's going to be insane because everybody's leaving at the same time. So here's my life pro tip. International Street, like the shops and stuff, they stay
Yep.
open later. So if you linger for a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, um, you can kind of wait out the traffic a little bit,
Yeah.
go
Now,
shopping.
if you don't have to have the Eiffel Tower, as part of the backdrop when you're watching the fireworks, like you just really are enjoying the fireworks and the drones and that. Go behind the Eiffel Tower. They have that new pavilion area out by the carousel. That would
Mhm.
be a great area to just grab a seat there. Everyone's going to be crowded around International Street, but if you want to go there, you'll get some great visuals of the fireworks. You'll have Orion then as your backdrop, and you're going to get some fantastic shots there. You can even go back in the area 72 and get some shots, back there if you're just interested in getting photos and that of the fireworks. But it's a spectacular show. They do it every year. I don't think anybody does it better than Kings Island when it comes to Fourth of July fireworks in the industry. I think I know that the people that are involved in putting that show together are always very proud of what they did. And the only thing that ever gets in the way is sometimes if it's weather impact a little bit because you just don't know. But the other part of it too, when you think about the Fourth of July, everybody always thinks about picnics and all that with your family, and that here's an opportunity to come to the park, let Coney Barbecue do the cooking for you. They've got your basic things that would kind of fit that description of what you might do on a cookout. And that they've got the just great food. So let them do the cooking for you.
Yeah, might have a little trouble getting a soft drink, but yeah, Coney Barbecue
Yeah,
is
yeah. We didn't mention. Yeah, you might not get soft drinks, you might not get ice, but if you like rotisserie chicken, you like sausage, you like the burnt ends, those kind of things. Uh, some really good food is available at Coney Barbecue. So, and if you want the other kind of things like hot dogs and peanut butter and jelly that for the kids, maybe Pigpen's mess hall will be open too, for you. So, but let the park do the cooking for you, that day. So, make a day of it. Don't just come up at night to see the fireworks. Spend the day, quality time with the family. Go out to Soak City Water Park, try out the new river racers, and just make a day of it on July 4th and July 5th.
yeah, July 4th and 5th, 2025 at Kings Island, 10 p.m. is the launch time. So yeah, Area 72 is the area of the park really kind of closest to where they launch them. So that might be closed actually, depending on what they're doing. Because the fallout depends on the size of the shells. But uh, I have watched from there, and you actually get a little bit of debris rain down on you if you want to
Yeah,
be
you
really
do. You
interactive with the
do.
show.
Keep in mind that that select rides, the Beast, Orion, the Racer, that those rides will close early
Mhm.
for the fireworks. So if you're in the line, you can stay, keep your place and everything, but you're not going to be able to ride up to 10 o'clock. So usually around 20 till something like that, 20 till 10 that those rides shut down. And then it takes about 15, 20 minutes afterward when what they're doing is the safety team will go around, they'll check to make sure that, you know, nothing got, in the trees or anything like that. Everything's safe to operate those rides again. So expect those delays, not just on the 4th and the 5th of July, but any night that you go that Kings Island's doing fireworks, you're always going to have those temporary delays on select attractions.
Yeah. So July 4th and 5th, Kings Island, 10 o'clock for the fireworks. Be there or be square. Don, let's move on to some Tower Topics tidbits.
One of the things that I've been excited to see all season so far is just everybody's rave reviews of how the Beast is running. I think it's in my own personal opinion, it's running better than it has since 1990. But it's great to see other guests really talking about how good the Beast is this year. That's a lot of effort went into it. The Gravity Group did a great job, doing a little bit of reprofiling in that in a couple of sections. The Kings Island Carpenters, they also, they don't get the credit, but they also did a great job. And it's just running fantastic. So if you're a wooden coaster fan, you're looking at one of the top three, four, five wooden roller coasters, out there right now. The way it's running, for me, I said 1990, the best that it's running. The reason that I picked out 1990 is that was the last year that you had the buzz bars. And once they went to the individual lap bars and they added the extra weight with those, and then they went to the trim brakes and that, it just kind of changed the experience. It hasn't been the same since then. And then it got rougher over the years a little bit. But now it's there's not a bad seat on the train. So if before you wanted to avoid certain seats, you wanted to avoid the wheel seats. You did not want to be in the back car, the back row. But now it doesn't matter. All the seats are, you know, offer a really fun and thrilling ride experience. So if you haven't been to Kings Island yet this year, you have not taken a ride on the Beast, I urge you to do so. You'll be pleasantly pleased by how the Beast is running today versus how it might have been on one of your previous experiences last year or in the previous years. Also, time is running out to see the Gazillion Bubble Show. It ends on July 6th, so if you haven't had a chance to see that, make sure that you do. One of the things that's sad for me, Ryan, is after July 6th, the rest of the summer into the fall, we will see the Kings Island Theater dark, unless they have a surprise for us.
I mean, if they were going to have a surprise for us, I imagine they would have announced it by now. But yeah, unfortunately, until maybe December, there's going to be nothing in there, which I think is kind of sad. I think that's a fantastic facility, and I wish they would do something in there. You
Yeah,
know,
dark theaters are always, that was never the case, back in the glory days of Kings Island, I'll say 70s, 80s, into the 90s, that, Memorial Day, Labor Day, the Showplace Theater, you know, outside of the one day the show was off during the week, there was something in there. There was something in the Fest House. There was something in the Kings Island Theater, entertainment around every corner. And you just don't see that today.
yeah. All right, let's move on to a segment we like to call Buy or Sell. Don, buy or sell. As part of the ongoing cost cutting measures, Kings Island will further reduce the number of Winterfest shows to around 3 to 4, down from what was once billed as 18 just a few years ago. Buy or sell?
You know, I'm going to buy because of the way things are going right now for the company. I will buy that there will only be about four shows this year. I know because it's a short night. Mostly it's open like 5 to 10. That it's impossible when they had 18 shows for you to see every show. Even when they had 15, 14 shows, it was still hard to get around to see every show. As long as they have four really really good ones, I think they could get away with that, and I don't think it would interrupt the experience too much at the park. You'd want your show in the Kings Island Theater. You'd want something on the bandstand. You'd want to have a couple of the other shows that they have that are really popular. But every year, they've eliminated more of the shows. I think this past year was when the four drummers drumming, was eliminated. A lot of guests were not happy about that before Winterfest opened. Once Winterfest opened, nobody talked about it again. They were just talking about how good the park looked, with the millions of lights and some of the other, nice little touches that they did. The food, I still think about that meatloaf burger that we got in the brew house. So I don't know, but I think they can get away with it. So it would not surprise me. I'm buying Ryan if they will cut down the number of shows this year.
What do you think they're gonna cut? Because we know I don't see them. I could see them maybe at like having one new show or something. I would say most certainly Tinkers is going to come back.
Tinkers will be
Um,
back. The
the
bandstand show will be
bandstand sh-
back.
the bandstand show was new last year, so that'll be
Not as
back.
good. Not as good as it had been
No,
either.
it was still good, but it was. I mean, it's just kind of like the fireworks at Kings Island. It's like it's the same stuff, just done differently. Like it's like the same songs and everything.
I
So
think
just some
things like
years are gonna be
Jingle
better than
Jazz.
others.
I could see like a Jingle Jazz going.
Did they have Jingle Jazz last year? I feel like that
I
might have been cut.
that might yeah that was one that yeah that might have been one of the cuts. So I don't know. I mean, but it's
What
it's
about
getting pared down.
the mistletones?
Mistletoe,
That's
yeah,
possible.
that could be possible. Um, so there was other shows that they had around the park. Some of the roving entertainment, I think we didn't see
Yeah.
as much of last year. Some of the characters, the merriment characters, we didn't see as many of them. So, but still, overall, I think last year Winterfest looked spectacular. They did a great job. I mean, the park. I don't think in terms of the visual. I don't think since Winterfest came back in 2017, and even going back to the original Winterfest, I don't think the park ever looked better than it did last year.
Do you think the parade will be back?
Yes. I do think the parade will be back.
I mean, they cut it from King's Dominion several years before they got rid of Winterfest, which was this year. Uh, but you know how many resources parades take up.
It does take up a lot. There would definitely be some very disappointed guests if they were to eliminate the parade. That has become a staple of Kings Island's Winterfest. So now you got me concerned, Ryan. I wasn't thinking parade as a cut, but now you got me concerned.
I feel like they would hear about. I feel like they're going to cut around the edges to the point because, like, you talk about Four Drummers drumming, where like the hardcore fans are like, "Oh no, that was my favorite show," but then like the average person showed up and they didn't notice.
Like What the
Uh,
Dickens was another one.
yeah, I mean, I was disappointed about that too. But again, like, how many people did it show to? 100 per night. That's not a big theater, and there was nobody in it. But the parade, I feel like they would definitely hear about. I think they would try to make cuts elsewhere instead of doing the parade.
That's one of the things that separates Kings Island's Winterfest from other winter, Christmas events out there in the industry is that parade. I think that's a nice touch. It's a great way to cap off the evening. So hopefully that stays. But now, like I said, you got me concerned now.
Well, I didn't mean to make you lose sleep, but here we are. All right,
You
let's
did.
move on to some.
Thanks.
Let's move. Yeah, let's move on to some theme park headline news. All right, Superman and the Justice League of America will face off against the Joker's League of Anarchy when Six Flags Magic Mountain hosts a summer festival of good versus evil with a cast of superheroes and supervillains. DC Heroes and Villains Fest will run on Fridays and Saturday nights from June 26th at the Valencia Amusement Park with character appearances, live shows, music tributes, themed food, event merchandise, and DC themed rides and attractions. So that's putting that DC license up. Do you think?
Yes, on paper it sounds really good. Like this would be a lot of fun to go see and experience as a guest. What are your thoughts? I think I would want to check it out if I lived out in the LA area.
Yeah, I would definitely check it out. The real question though is, uh, they're gonna have to center. I don't think it's gonna be soon. I think it's gonna be after they get over the hump in a couple years. But they're gonna have to synergize this intellectual property. You know. So does DC stay? And do
I
you
think it
see that?
does. I think it does.
Does Peanuts stay?
I think Peanut stays. Yes, I think. I
Do
think
you
they
think
both
Looney
stay.
Tunes stays?
No, that's my
See,
guess.
they'll forego Looney Tunes for Peanuts.
I think so.
I think that would be smart of them to do.
I think that'll be the case, and I think Action Zone's future is DC themed. That's just what my crystal ball says down the road.
So when they go through and they tear out Invertigo, Congo, and the Bat, that's going to be part of the DC universe.
Yes,
I could see it.
I would. Last year when I was at Six Flags Great America in Chicago, I thought the DC stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that being at Kings Island.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how
Just
they
keep it
do it.
tucked away in the corner, though. Just keep it tucked away in the Action Zone corner. Just
Yeah,
leave it there.
so long as
That'd
it's
be all right.
not
Yeah,
the Kings Island logo with the Batman logo or anything stupid like
that's
that.
right.
All right, we'll be right back with the listener questions. First listener question, Brian from Northern Kentucky said, why haven't Kings Island or any of the Six Flags not partner with EV charging companies to put EV charging in their parking lot? I think they have them at some of them, like Carowinds does. I
I
think.
think some of them do. Yeah, they're there, but that's right now I don't know that the demand is there for it to be like a Kings Island. I think in 5 years from now, very good chance they would need to do something like that. But right now, I don't see that. They would not put in the expense to do that, especially with how things are going right now for the company, and until 3, 4, 5 years down the road. But I think they'll get there.
They could, and then, but they have them at like Magic Kingdom and stuff. But the real question is, how do you handle it? So you go there, you need to charge up, you plug your car in. With the Tesla superchargers, once you fill it up, you have like 15 minutes to get your car out of there, or to at least unplug it, or it starts charging you again and not give you electricity. It's a way to stop people from parking there, filling up, and then going into,
Right.
Mire for an hour and a half. So, do you do that at Kings Island? Like, do you let the person just park there all day, or do they have to come back out to their car and unplug it and put it in a normal spot? That's the real question here. I don't know how they do it at Disney.
Now we'll look into that and try to have a little bit of a deeper answer for you in an
Yeah,
upcoming episode.
sure. Yeah, KI in the EV revolution. All right, Raymond from Jeffersonville, Kentucky. He says, I've been to Kings Island twice this month. Both times the park has felt like a ghost town. Walking up on most of the major rides. Do you think that all the improvements at Kentucky Kingdom has impacted attendance? Thanks. I enjoy the show. Keep up the good work.
I don't think it's had a major impact. I think there's been a few people that don't need to make or feel they need to make the trek to Kings Island because there's been such nice improvement at Kentucky Kingdom. They've done a really good job there of cleaning up the park. The experience is much better. The food has been elevated. They got the cinnamon bread there. So there's a lot to like about Kentucky Kingdom, but I don't think that's the reason. There wasn't enough on a daily basis, coming from that Louisville market, um, to have it to where it's a ghost town at the park. So has it impacted it? Some, yes, but not the reason that the park on certain days has been a ghost town this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Even if Kentucky Kingdom was strong, and let's say they were like Holiday World ish, doing a little over a million or so, that would move the needle at Kings Island, but it wouldn't be like the park's a ghost town. And certainly Hershon isn't there yet with Kentucky Kingdom. They need to have the park re-earn the trust of the people of Louisville before people choose to go there instead of Kings Island, instead of Holiday World or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would say that just with the size of the Louisville market and stuff, I mean, if they wish upon a star and they're just like out of this world good, like the park may feel a little less busy. But the truth is, with the scale of their park at their best, with the markets they draw from, um, it would probably like on a Excel sheet, you would definitely see the difference, But
Yeah.
as far as like as a guest, it's not going to be like, oh, the Beast is only 25 minutes on a Saturday anymore. It's just we're not talking about enough people for that.
No,
Yeah,
there's not. And, like I said, it's the experience at Kentucky Kingdom has, definitely been elevated. It's everybody that I've talked to that's gone there this year loves the changes that they've made. I'm looking forward to visiting. I'm going to go there a couple times in July. I've got my season pass. Looking forward to it. But I think when you look at Kings Island and the attendance having plummeted this year to some of the levels that you experience and other guests have experienced, where it's a walk on for a lot of the rides. A lot of that has to do with the guest experience that's being provided. It's simple as that.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think people visited earlier in the season and they just weren't really in a huge hurry to get back at the moment. Um, yeah. All right. Sean from Mason, Ohio. He said, "Why is Pigpen's mess hall always closed? Wasn't that touted as part of the new Camp Snoopy last year? My kid wants a PB and or the P&J sandwich when we go, but we've got we've yet to see it open this year. It has
There's been
opened
some
this year.
it has opened, but there's been some disappointment about that. I know, with the degree of regularity it has been closed. It's one of the first places they choose to close. And you're right. It was touted as being a big piece of the Camp Snoopy expansion, that we've got this new restaurant and the camping type food that was going to be there, and it's just not been open all the time. Uh, Hopefully, that isn't the case all summer, and you're able to get what you're looking for when you go to the park. But I do know that you're not the only one that's disappointed that Pigpen's Mess Hall has been closed.
Do you do you think if there weren't meal plans, it would be open? Like, do you think that they close it down because, well, that's one of the ones that only meal plan people go to, so let's just close it?
I think that
You think?
plays a big part in it. What they're looking for those places to stay open that they're going to get a little more revenue out of. But it's a dissatisfier, when you go, and you just hate to see things closed up. It's not the only thing, but like I said, hopefully it gets a little bit better as the summer goes on. I was looking forward to trying that, was it that cheddar wurst thing they had, the cheesy
Yeah,
cheddar
give
wurst.
it another shot.
Yeah, it was very disappointing last year when it was the only disappointing meal that I had all last year. So I was looking forward to giving that another shot. It was closed the last time I was there because I was ready to head over there. So I just went to the French Corner instead, and it was open that day. But I've also seen a lot of pictures in that where people are posting that that's closed or it's not opening until like 5 o'clock in the evening. So it's just a different experience this year, different vibe.
Yeah, cool. Don, why don't you do us a favor and tell us about the t-shirts?
Tower Topics t-shirts. They come in a wicked green color, any size that you need. It's got the logo prominently displayed on the front. Those are just $22 if you're interested. And the easy way to get them is to just send me an email. It's Don Helbig at themeparksbydon.com. Put in the subject line Tower Topics t-shirt. Just an email. Let me know what size you need, what your shipping address is. I'll send you the QR code once the transaction goes through. It's just a matter of days before you will get your shirt. Any size that you need is available. That includes the youth sizes. But we also have available now, as we expand our merchandise line, we have stickers, and these are great for things. They're vinyl, but they're great for things like tumblers, mugs, water bottles, any hard surface that you want to stick them on. Sizes and pricing, this is including the shipping now. 4.5 inch by 3 inch is $5 each. These are the kind of sizes that you would want to use for tumblers and water bottles, and then for the like perfect for car windows would be the bigger size, 6.5 by 4 inch. Those are $7 each. Same place. Just email me at Don Helbig at themeparksbydon.com if you're interested in one. I'll send you the QR code for that. But you can also, whether it's the T-shirt or the stickers, you can just send a direct message to our X, which quite a number of people have used that avenue. And same thing, send the direct message. I'll send back the QR code, and we'll get you those items as quickly as possible.
Should we sell a t-shirt that says, "Is Pigpen's mess hall open"?
I mean, Ryan, it's just unbelievable. When you, there was somebody that posted, I don't know, like 30 something pictures of things closed the other day on the Tower Topics Facebook group. That's another thing. If you've not joined the Facebook group yet, we don't do enough promoting of this, Ryan.
Mm.
Join the Tower Topics Facebook group. It's a great place for Kings Island conversation. And, I think we've got like a little over 2,500 members right now, but we'd love to see that grow.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of different like t-shirt ideas and stuff because we on the live stream. I don't remember if it was the members only live stream or if it was the everybody live stream, but we thought of a t-shirt that said "Cost Synergies." It's a Six Flags thing. You just wouldn't understand.
Yeah,
I think,
that's one that we could, if as long as we don't use the logo, we could get away with doing that one. We just say the word Six Flags, spell it out.
or we could say "Cost Synergies." You just wouldn't understand, or something like that, if we didn't want to use the name Six Flags. But
Yeah, we've got the cricket shirts. If anybody wants a cricket shirt, cricket club member shirt, we have those. We've worn those a few episodes back, I think, that Ryan and I both were wearing those. So if you feel that you've been ignored by the park, you've sent them emails with your complaints or whatever, and nobody's getting back with you, well, join the cricket club. So those shirts also would be $22, and it would come in a black color.
we have like a whole Kohl's shop worth of merchandise nowadays. We're gonna have to get that website up and running so people can just browse through casually
Yeah,
while this will be
yeah. I
working.
think once daily operation ends, let's start. In August, let's look to do that web store and have that ready to roll out so people can just browse online, and we don't have to talk about it every episode. What we have, we can just kind of point you to the website and browse around and pick out what you'd like.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, I'm Ryan Sir. That's Don Helbig. This is Tower Topics.